Training Thursday. So glad that you are here with me today, whether you're watching this live or watching this on the replay. And so, what I want to jump into today in today's training is I want to talk about how to learn better. Now, the reason that you're watching this today is hopefully that you want to learn something, right? That's why being part of this group or being any kind of training or anything that we're doing, a book that we're reading, a YouTube video that maybe you're watching, is usually we may be watching that. Yes, we can watch that for entertainment, but most of the time we're going to look for something to learn, whether that's for our personal, for our business. If you're in my world, obviously in the business world of growing our businesses. But so what I want to do is kind of break down like how to do that, how to learn better, because I think that's what all of us want to do. Is like, how can I take what I'm consuming and help me to be able to absorb that and to be able to apply that quicker in my life or in my business regarding what you're looking to learn. So that's what we're going to jump into today in today's training, which I have titled "How to Learn Better." So I've got 8 simple ways for you to look at this, and I'm gonna go through each one of them. I'm gonna pop them up on the screen as we go through, and so let's get rolling with number 1. So number 1, be comfortable with the struggle of learning. Okay. And so this is what I mean by this is that anytime that we're learning something new, typically, and especially as we start to apply it, we're probably going to suck at it. And you know what? And that's okay. What has happened is what I have found is that the challenge that we run into, and I run into this myself. So I'm in this group, is that we live in a world of instant gratification in everything that we do. You've heard me talk about this before, is that I can have everything that I want. I literally would never have to leave my office and have everything. I can get food delivered. I could get medicine if I needed it delivered. I can get health care because I could go to telemed and so literally I could stay here and I can have it just like this, right? At least overnight, or sometimes even obviously in the same day. And what I found is that we in the struggle of learning, where we're like, oh, I just want to know it now. Like I want to watch this, 30-minute training or an hour or whatever, or read this book, and then I have it. I'm an expert at it. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. So what we have to understand and what we have to do is be comfortable to kind of go, you know what? I may go through this training and you're not going to be a master at it. It just doesn't work that way. And so what we want to do is like, be okay knowing is like, hey, I'm going to apply what I'm going to learn. And then it may not work the way I thought it should work, or as quick as it should. And I'm going through that right now. To share with you just a quick story around that is that, as you know, obviously I have a coaching and consulting business, and I've been working to reaching more people is to running Facebook ads to attract people into my world. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't like it, but the issue of it is that it's a pillar, not obviously the main part of that, because obviously still getting referred is a big part of that. But as I'm learning about all these different aspects of it, it's frustrating. I get frustrated in it because I'm no different than anyone else. I'm just like, okay, I just want give me the condensed version. I want it to work, and then I can move on, with my life. But unfortunately, it's a lot of things it takes time, and we have to kind of embrace the suck and the struggle in that. So just understand that that's going to come, and not to get frustrated and to give up with it, is just understand that's just going to be a part of it and to step through it. Okay. So number 1. Number 2 is always being more curious about whatever it is that you're asking either questions to yourself. Is like, okay, how can I apply this in my business? What is it that, that I'm missing? Because if we come from a place of like, when we go to learn something new and we already have a preconceived notion that it's like, oh, well, I already know something kind of about that. Then what happens is that what we do, and when I say we, I'm counting again myself in this, is like, we put up these filters. So it's like, I already have a bias around what I think this is. And I go back to like, with Facebook ads, where like, well, I think it's supposed to look like this. So now I've got this filter. And then when something hits against that, that pushes against that belief that I have, it's my own belief. It's not based off anything else other than a belief or a bias that I have towards something. It allows me not to be open to learn something new because my brain wants to shut down. And this is how our brains will function. So coming from a place of like setting aside, okay, what I think I know about this, to like, okay, let me look at this. Let me be coming from a place of curiosity and to be able to learn. It'll open up our learning so much better when we come from that place. All right. Then number 3 is that what's our goal, right? What's our goal for wanting to learn this? And it's kind of like I talk about, having a why all the time, in our business and everything that we do is like, okay, why do I want to do this? Why do I want to learn this? Because if it's just for the sake of just learning something, then that becomes a challenge because there's so much. We have tons of information, but by having a goal where it's just like, you know what, for being, in my world is that, hey, I want to grow my business. I want to get more referrals from the people that I'm already doing business with. My goal is that's my goal, right? Go back to being curious. How can I do that and do that better? And when we do that, it's like anything. When we have a goal for whatever that we're doing, there's more of an opportunity for us to stay with it. And going back to what I talked about, like embracing the struggle and the suck is like, okay, hey, but this is my goal. This is my why I want to learn this. So I'm going to stay in it. Okay. Even when it becomes uncomfortable and I suck at it and all those things, is because I've got a goal around learning. I want to release weight. I want to grow my business, whatever that is that you're wanting to learn or to change in your life. Number 4 is learn and focus sessions. Okay. And for me is that it's one of those things where it's just like, I know that I'm in a learning, and you notice this in my trainings. I rarely ever go over 30 minutes on a training. If it's going to be something, I will break that up. I will break it up into multiple trainings, because what I've found in research and understanding, again, the brain of it is that we're only going to absorb so much. I'm good really like 30 to 45 minutes when I'm learning something new. Okay. Like setting, and just like people that are going on these marathons, I'm just like, hey, I'm going to set through 90 minutes or 2 hours and I'm going to grind, through this. What happens is we don't retain the information. This is why one of the things I'm going to talk about here in a minute is another thing to do is we have to look at spaced repetition, which is the next one I'm going to talk about. So spaced repetition. So I give you kind of the analogy of this is that if, you're going to the gym, and you're working out, is it great? Do you go in one day and go, you know what, I'm just going to work out for 2 hours today, and then I'm not going to go for the rest of the week? Versus what if I went for 30 minutes 3 times a week? Would I see different results? Because if I crush my body in that one day, go for another week, then what's going to happen is I'm going to be super sore every time that I show up and probably give up at some point in time, right? So spaced repetition, to whereas if we're looking to learn something, is we're like going like, hey, I'm going to focus, say, I'm going to spend 30 minutes today in this, and to be able to, so I can retain it, understand it, and then go and apply it, whatever it is that maybe that you're doing, right? Then you come for the next time. So that spaced repetition is so important when you're learning, what I've found in that. And so whatever that is like for you, is like, again, those focus sessions, 30 minutes to 60 minutes. There's a lot of different, systems around that, the Pomodoro method, and there's just different ones, but find what works for you and you'll know kind of from your energy level. The other thing is, I would say is understand your energy level when you are your strongest. For me, I'm a morning person. So my day starts between 4:15 and 4:30. And so I'm up, and so I'm strong in the morning. So anything that I'm learning, you notice why when I'm doing this trainings, these are in the mornings. I'm not doing these late in the afternoons. I don't do them in the evenings, because I understand my energy level and my focus. And so that's why everything important I want to get done, I'm doing that usually before 1 o'clock. Just how at that point because I've already been up for 7 hours, right? So know what your rhythms, know what your natural rhythms are, and use those to your benefit. Number 6 is go deep, not wide. Okay. And what do I mean by that? Meaning is going back to there's so much information. There's just, we are bombarded with the amount of information that we can get, any kind of learning and training and all of those things. It's again going back to have a goal for your learning, but go deep in the thing that you want versus like, well, I'm going to try to be kind of good at this. I'm going to this, and all of these. We're trying to like to be the jack of all trades, and we're a master of none. And that's the thing about looking at this and going deep, understanding the thing that you really want to learn. Okay. If you're just learning to be learning for fun, okay, that may be different, but your time is precious. And so it's like, hey, be focused, go deep on this and stay with that, because then that's how you master something, right? Is that you go deep on it and not go wide. You hear me say this all the time. I want to go a mile deep instead of an inch deep and a mile wide, right? So, and number 7 is reflect, revisit, and review. Okay. This is why it goes back to when we're talking about doing, focused times and spaced repetition is I go over something and then, if I'm taking notes on that and kind of go back and look at that and kind of go, oh, okay. And we're going to revisit it. We want to review that piece of it. It's like we do the training and then we're quickly on to the next thing. This is why if we're doing spaced repetition is we watch the video, we set through the training, we read the book, whatever that is. And then before we go on to the next thing is to review that, go back and look at that and kind of go, okay, what do I want to apply? What does that look like? For me, in my business, in my life, whatever it is that the thing is that you're wanting to learn. So we always got to be looking at going back and reviewing, reflecting on that. Okay. Number 8, and the last one on this is to teach someone else. When you learn something, teach someone else. When I do these trainings, and I've been doing business for 33 years now, and as I learn something new, and sometimes it's not even me learning something new, it's me sharing with you what I have learned in business, and obviously through training and everything else that I've gone through. Even now, when I do these trainings, it's like some things pop up for me is that I'm going, oh, hey, am I doing this? For example, hey, what is what I'm learning right now? What's my goal, in this training that I'm taking or that I'm doing? But when we go and we teach someone else, we retain that information even more so. Plus, we're also sharing that with somebody else. We're not just keeping it to ourselves. Part of this is why I do this training. This is, on my whether you're in one of my groups that you're seeing this or on my page, is that it's a way to pay that forward. Hopefully that what I'm sharing with you is something that you can take, you can learn from this, right? Go in and start implementing that and you learn better and quicker, and then go and share that with someone. Go, hey, I watched this guy on the video about, hey, how to learn better. And here's a couple of things. And I started doing this and it really made a difference. That is, that's always my hope inside of doing these trainings, is paying it forward. And then when we do that, is not just keeping this knowledge up here for our own good. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the issue of it is that how do we get better? There's a saying is the tide rises, it raises all the ships. And if it is that if I can get better, I can share that with somebody else. I can share that with you, right? And multiple people. And then if you'll do that and you'll go back to your, if you have a team, you go back to your people and and reteach this information. This is why, it's not proprietary. It's like, if you want to take this, and I hope that you do, and you go back and you're like, hey, this is something great that we can maybe work on. I've done this, mentors in my life of getting things. And and I've shared those here, in this is like, hey, this is what I've learned from, Darren Hardy or Brian Buffini or, any of the, Brian Clemmer, any of the people that have been mentors in my life that I have learned from. Then it's like, hey, I took this, it worked. And now I'm going to come back and I'm going to reshare it. And you can do the same thing. and to go out and to be able to pay it forward. So that's what I've got for you today in this training. I hope this is helpful. We should always want to, always want to be learning and how to get better at learning. If we can just get, right, it's just getting better is the key inside of that. So as always, hey, if there's anything I can do for you, if you have a question, obviously what I do is I help people build their business by increasing the number of referrals that they are getting, having a system around doing all of that so you can enjoy the business, because we all know the best business is the referred business. And I'd love to have that conversation with you if you're at a place where you're ready to make that step. So, hey, until next time, make it a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.